So now we're going to make a cheat sheet for density. I suggest that you find slide number 2 in your packet and you record this information in the box there so that you can use this on your next progress check. The first thing I'm going to do is make 3 columns. We're going to compare 3 substances in terms of their densities. The first substance will be wood, the next one will be water, and the last one will be iron, which is a type of metal. First, we want to find the density of wood. To do that, we're going to use the simulation that you also used in class. If you look at the scale, you might be able to see this piece of wood. It has a weight of 1.95 grams. Since the formula for density is mass over volume, I'm going to put the 1.95 on the top of the equation. And then I also need to measure the volume of the wood. In order to measure the volume, I'm going to drag the piece of wood under the water, and you can see that the volume went up to 28.5. When the piece of wood is completely submerged, we say that it's displacing that amount of water. So the maximum volume is 28.5, and the minimum was 25.5. We want to subtract 28.5 minus 25.5 so that we can find the difference in volume. In this case, that small piece of wood has a volume of 3 milliliters. The volume is the amount of space that the wood takes up. If I put this into a calculator, I would take 1.95 and divide by 3. I'm going to do that right now. And I get 0.65 for the density of wood. Now, if you measure water, you'll find that the density of water is 1 gram per milliliter. So if you place 100 milliliters of water on a scale, the mass would be 100 grams. That makes water a good point of comparison for other substances. Next, we want to find the density of iron. So we're going to use the same process that we used for the wood. This time I'm going to change the material to iron, and I see that it's 31.48 grams. Next, I'm going to find the volume of the iron. So I'm going to drag it underneath the water, and I see that it goes up to 29.5. 29.5 minus 25.5 would be 4 milliliters. So I'm going to put that on the bottom. If I put that in my calculator, I get a density of 7.87 grams per milliliter. So now we can see that the density of wood was much lower than the density of water. Water has a density of 1 gram per milliliter, and wood is less than 1 gram per milliliter. Iron has a density that's much higher than the density of water. So that explains why iron sinks when it's placed in water, and wood floats when it's placed in water. I added some particle diagrams at the bottom here so that we could see why this is the case. Just like we talked about with solids, liquids, and gases, different solids can also vary in density, as well as different liquids and different gases. If you look at these diagrams, you can see that there's a lot more space between the particles in the wood than there is in the metal.